A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven.
Και boxers μου κάνετε, πώς είσαστε? Καλώς ήρθατε σε ένα επεισόδιο της σειράς
Grey Wolf was a
JUAREZ
Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move.
Το προηγούμενο λοιπόν επεισόδιο εμείς το οποίο ήταν
live, of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
Το προηγούμενο επεισόδιο λοιπόν το οποίο ήταν live, αυτό το επεισόδιο, στο προηγούμενο επεισόδιο όμως το οποίο το κάναμε live, περάσαμε πάρα πολύ ωραία. Ολοκληρώσαμε 2 επεισόδια εδώ πέρα στην ιστορία εδώ πέρα του Cowboy. Κάναμε τις μάχες μας εκεί πέρα με την καλά ποιος είναι το πιο γρήγορο πιστόλι. Κάναμε τις μάχες μας εδώ πέρα για το ποιος είναι το γρήγορο πιστόλι. Και τώρα συνεχίζουμε τις πορείες της περιπέτειά μας. Γίνεται την ιστορία εδώ πέρα του Cowboy και συνεχίζουμε να δούμε τώρα πώς θα εξελιχθεί αυτή η ιστορία. Πολύ ωραίο παιχνίδι. Αυτή η Γιάννη είναι. Αλλά ήθελα να έχω ένα γιατί δεν μπορώ να κάνω γρήγορο reload. Καραμπίνα μου.
Crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea, but now that the shooting had started, there was no backing down.
Level up. Trapper close quarter. West not. Ναι, αλλά πόσα έχω? Ένα skill έχω. Αυτό το χρειάζομαι. Να έχω πιο πολλές σφαίρες. Γιάννη. Αυτό τι είναι? Για εδώ. Όχι, δεν θέλω. Θέλω το κλασικό μου το όπλο. Six shooter, ranger. Το πιο καλύτερο ποιο είναι, δεν ξέρω. Σόδια. Κατά εγώ, για κάτσε. Ranger. Εντάξει, θα κρατήσω το Ranger να τελειώνουμε.
Rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas, and that's why they had retreated there. I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did, but then again, I got a lot to lose.
Πώς θα περάσω, Με πάρε, φίλε.
Did you find Grey Wolf? Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout.
That's the case of Grey Wolf. ψηλά. Τσακίσαν. Είναι γεροί. Πάμε, συνεχίζουμε. Ως πόρω όπως με λένε εμένα.
Crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
That's the case of Grey Wolf. Ωραία, αυτό ξεκινάει πίσω. Δύσκολα τα πράγματα.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit. They had torches on the walls.
Ah, this one.
Was his cave? Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars.
Like a Grey Wolf.
They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Ανά το πάω. Από τόσο μακριά που πετυχαίνει ρε φίλε.
How come you know so much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters.
Μάλιστα.
Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows, and I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind.
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
He said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk. I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle. I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering white water river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
Deixa.
Steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me.
Okay.
And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap. Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Okay. Guys, maybe got there fast revolver.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Survive the ambush. ήθελα να το βάλω λέει και στο δύσκολο. Γιατί είναι μικρή περιπέτεια. Θα με είχαν ξεσκίσει.
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before. I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air. Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty.
Nice.
Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Ντάλτονς.
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand.
Ντάλτον Brothers. Θα δούμε και το Lucky Luke τώρα.
Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of the riot?
I did my best, sir. We all did. It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one.
Yeah.
You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob two banks at the same time. Two banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, he'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up.
Right. It's always the woman's fault.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off.
He got us a hero.
Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. This man had no intention of letting the Daltons slip away. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait for son of a bitch.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting. from above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there.
Θα πάει σεντάδο παΐτε through the roof, έντρα. Εδώ.
A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Πάμε κάτω. Απέχετε Ντάλτον.
We've got company. Heroic men like him who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch!
Davy Crockett died defending the Alamo.
Now you're really pissing me off!
Πάσε παραλέει πάσε. Πήγαν να πάρουν τα λεφτά,
Over there!
Κάτω φίλε.
That's Silas Greaves! What the hell?
Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Για με λένε οι νικητές καταφέραμε και νικήσαμε τους Ντάλτον.
His name was Silas Greaves. And when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened. It was early evening, not high noon. I was late to the party and Coffeyville was already up in arms. The Daltons blew up a safe and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
The leader, the lover, the loser. Αυτοί είναι οι Daltons, the Dalton brothers.
I had been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless.
In for the kill!
And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still have friends in Coffeyville. Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose it. The problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens. The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least two of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work. It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. He felt taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
I'm gonna tear you apart. You are dead, law dog. I'll blow your damn head clean off.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
Ποιος έβαλε το 23 φορές δεν τον πυροβόλησανε. Τι λες ρε φίλε.
But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Bounty Hunter is still my name.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Find the Daltons in the flooded
Track
town.
them to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course. So we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Γιατί εκτός τα πουλιά.
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Bury them in the snow. Plant them where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanted to do me harm, so I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Shoot it. You can't hide from me.
Δεν στο έξω ρε.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
I'm gonna blow your damn head off.
Fast rifle reload, το θέλω πιο πολύ. Το είναι πιο δύσκολο. Στείλαν. Όταν ρε φίλε, το έχεις, το έχεις.
Point B and I was under serious attack.
Πω, με στείλαν. Δυσκολεύσαν τα πράγματα.
I'm done with you.
I'm gonna make you pay for that. I can't hear you.
Δύσκολο θα πει.
Reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
Somebody kill that son of a bitch.
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view.
Φίλε μου, λες κάτι ιστορίες, ωραίες.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them.
Find your way through this rut.
But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve?
Steve?
So I just started walking, and pretty soon, Steve? Steve?
Steve?
Huh? No, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Γιάννη, λέμε με γυμνώσαν.
Indians? They were Indians?
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
Oh, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. Kansas breed like rabbits.
Oh, με τσακίσαν. Όσο προχωράμε τόσο δυσκολεύει το παιχνίδι.
Stop that, son of a bitch! Take that out!
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. Hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Trying to reload. I got this. Eso. Vamos a enfocarlo. Cosa.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Κάπου δεν είναι Ντάλτον τώρα και ψάχνουμε να τους βρούμε.
And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
Ένα steamboat.
A steamboat? In a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern-wheeler or a side-wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was in that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Déjala, vamos. Με τσακίσαν. Παιδιά, σήμερα το επεισόδιο είναι πολύ δύσκολο. Αυτούς δεν τους περίμενα. Πάμε.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Εγώ το πολυβόλο που μου ρίχνανε. Πες έξω ρε. Δεν βγαίνεις έξω.
Sorry, son of a bitch! I'm at you, yellow bastard!
Έλα γάμο.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. The leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a fight.
Ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
We're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's
So anyway,
Be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. I was coughing up smoke and pretty damn pissed. I was done playing games with those boys. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Θα πάω τα μου πίσω. Δύο level up, για να δούμε τι καλό μας έχεις. Αυτό το θέλω.
Let's get to this! Get away with it!
Πού είναι η πόλη?
Bob and Grad weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Δεν προλαβαίνω. Είναι γερή. Ωραία φίλε. Πάμε.
They got it wrong.
Πάνε και Ντάλτον. Τέλος.
If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers. My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
The Wild Bunch, JUAREZ, 1868.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into JUAREZ, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Μάλιστα. Also great train robbery.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right.
Τέλεια, μια χαρά. Λοιπόν, και απόψε φτάσαμε στο τέλος του επεισοδίου μας. Ήταν πάρα πολύ ωραίο επεισόδιο. Δύσκολο μεν, είχαμε πολλούς θανάτους. Εδώ μας διηγήθηκε την ιστορία για το πόσο καλά τι πέρασε στη ζωή του εδώ πέρα ο καουμπόης μας. Και πάνω απ' όλα κάναμε και μια μάχη με πιστόλια με δύο αυτή τη φορά τέτοιο αντιπάλους. Εντάξει. Αλλά να τραβάς πιστόλι σε κάποιον το οποίο έχεις απέναντί σου μόνο έναν και να τραβάς πιστόλι σε δύο ταυτόχρονα. Δύσκολο. Τέλος πάντων, κυνηγήσαμε εκεί πέρα και έναν αρχηγό των Ινδιάνων εκεί πέρα, ο οποίος μας είπε και καλά το σκοτάδι που έχουμε μέσα μας δεν θα εξελιχθεί και να μας καταλάβει την ψυχή μας. Κάτι εννοούσε, δεν τον βρήκαμε, ο οποίος αυτός εκεί πέρα ο αρχηγός των Ινδιάνων μετατράπηκε σε λύκο. Εντάξει, παιδιά. Να ολοκληρώσουμε ακόμα ένα επεισόδιο, πρέπει να απομένουν άλλα δύο επεισόδια. Οπότε το επόμενο επεισόδιο που θα κάνουμε θα είναι το πρώτο τελευταίο μας επεισόδιο. Εγώ πάω σε αυτό το παιχνίδι, θέλω να τελειώσω γιατί μου αρέσει πάρα πολύ. Το ευχαριστιέμαι, εντάξει παιδιά. Ευχαριστιέμαι γιατί έχει ωραία ιστορία, διηγείται ωραία την ιστορία και είναι καουμπόικο. Είχα καλά σημάδια, έκανα τα upgrades μου, τα updates μου, όλα εκεί πέρα, όλα καλά. Εντάξει παιδιά, όλα αυτά έχω να πω. Λοιπόν, θα ξαναλέμε στο επόμενο επεισόδιο. Γεια σας και καλή συνέχεια.